there seemed to be a scenario there where you're describing people leaving the South because they've got a basic income to move. I mean, this might more be a middle versus coasts question than a North versus South one, but surely a basic income would also allow people to stay in those regional centers who might otherwise have to move to a bigger labor market and benefit businesses in those towns, just not the businesses that happen to be currently the dominant political, backers in those towns. Is that a fair comment?
Sure. And I think, maybe getting back to Michael's question, we are going through a bit of an experiment now because many companies are now facing this question of are they going to force their employees to come back to work in person now that it's possible in the US to do that. Many workers don't want to go back to the office. Many do. Many are desperate to get away from their families. But many people have moved. So, I have a friend who runs an organization, educational organization, where much of the IT staff has moved out of New York City during the pandemic. Some as far away as Denver, Colorado, right? 3/4 of the way across the United States. Are we going to force those people to come back? Well, IT workers can say bye-bye, and go to work someplace else. But the companies are facing this question of like, well, if I do let my worker live in Denver or upstate New York or whatever it is, am I paying them New York salaries? Right? Because then, they take that New York salary and they live in, in Alabama, let's say, in a much lower cost state. That could be good for Alabama. It's going to cost the company, more than they maybe wanted to. So we're having this conversation now, about, in the context of, are we making workers, come home, or do workers have to live in the same state that their firm is in, and so on. So that's kind of a way of getting at what we're talking about. But yeah, I think that making our benefits, and not just our income benefits, but also health benefits and so on, if we made them more transportable, then we would see, we would actually learn where people want to live, and they wouldn't be stuck where they happen to be. And with the ability to do remote work, we could actually have a much more equitable economy across the United States than we have now, where, many people feel like they have to work in California or New York, even to the point, we don't have this in New York yet, but in California, people are living in their cars, to work at the tech industry. It's mind-boggling, but they can't afford the housing there. But it's worth it to them because that's where the jobs are, that's where the salaries are high. They're living in their cars.
Mm.